Good evening, and welcome to Real Fellas Talk Sports. I'm Larry Abels, and I'm happy to host the premiere of our fifth season on the air. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to the real stars of this show. First, we're going to start off with a longtime friend, used to live around the corner from me, known as a nice guy to most people. Chuck Snowden, how you doing, Chuck?
Larry, I'm good. We're back. We're back. I love it. I love it.
Then I have the loquacious gentleman from Indianapolis, David Burnett. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great, but let me correct you. Indianapolis. I'm from Catlinville, Indiana. Or actually, Catlinville, USA.
Okay.
I just want you to know that.
Oh, so you're not really from the sports capital, huh? Oh,
this is the sports capital, Catlinville, Indiana.
Okay, and last but not least, and welcome, David. Last but not least, the sports doctor himself, Earl Go-Go Rush. How you doing, Earl?
I'm doing great, Larry. Good to be back on the show with you guys.
And it's always a pleasure to have you here. You know, you're the straw that stirs the drink.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
So let's get started. We're going to talk about three games in particular, and if the guys want to bring up any other games, anybody else wants to bring up anything, feel free to do so. So let's start with the Thursday night game that's opening the season, the Ravens and the Chiefs. Chuck, what was your idea about those games? What are your thoughts on those games?
Two things. First, I thought it was a wonderful game. I really did. What a great game to kick the season off with. Secondly, Mahomes makes plays. Lamar, as good as he is, and I think he's very good, does not. That doesn't mean he won't going forward, but I just think it's that simple.
So you hold it against him that Derek Likely's feet were too long, kind of like Kevin Durant's?
Yeah. Or the fact that Zay was wide open and he missed him in the end zone.
He's on my fantasy team too. I didn't like that one. David, your thoughts on the game?
Baltimore's got to be more precise. It just seems like every year they come up in a big game, and that's a big game, nationally televised, and you're playing the world champion Chiefs. You got to do better. And Lamar, as good as he is, two-time MVP, we can't argue his ability, but his clutch gene is lacking. And and that's something he's got to get over. And he's got time. He's still young enough. Sure. 27, 28 years old. He's got time to fix that.
And you don't think it was like the Kevin Durant play was Likely's toes on the line?
I mean, he, as Chuck just said, the pass before shouldn't have been off because the man was wide open.
Okay.
And he missed him badly. You can't do that. You can't do it.
Earl, what did you think about the game?
It was okay. It wasn't all that great. I mean, I knew Kansas City was going to win. I didn't think too much of the game. I'm just so disappointed that Lamar cannot win in big games. And even though it was the regular first game of the season, I still consider it a big game for the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Earl, do you consider this a rivalry between Baltimore and Kansas City? Some of Baltimore's players were thinking that, if this is the best they can play, we can take these guys. You think it's a rivalry yet?
As I told Chuck a couple of years ago, it's nowhere near a rivalry. They beat the pants off them. How can it be a rivalry? It has to be some kind of competition for it to be considered a rivalry. There has to be some competition. They don't even lose sleep when they play me. I mean, when they play the Ravens, they know they're gonna win.
David, is it a rivalry yet?
No. It's a competitive thing and something we'd like to see of two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and also a reminder of how far we've come with African-American quarterbacks. The most significant quarterbacks now in the NFL are African-American or at least biracial. And that's significant because we can remember the day when it was just James Harris for years when we were in high school.
Well, 4 of them started the first 2 games, so I don't even think people even noticed it, but Thursday and Friday.
15 started this weekend.
No, I agree, but the first 2 games are 2 highlighted games. Thursday and Friday, all African American quarterback. Chuck, has it risen to a rivalry status, or is it?
I honestly, over the last 4 years or so, I think those are the two best teams. So I would consider it somewhat of a rivalry in the AFC. I do. Even though Kansas City comes out on top.
Real quick, I think the real rivalry is if there is a rivalry, is Buffalo and Kansas City. They just play the more dramatic games.
Okay. This one was pretty dramatic, though. I think everybody has to agree.
Yeah, it was. It came right down to the last play.
So let's move on to the next game, the Eagles and Packers. I'm going to start with you, Earl. Have the Eagles gotten their swagger back? I mean, they started off like 10-0 last year, 10-1, and then tanked at the end of the year. Do they look like they're back on target this year? And I know it's early.
No, it's early. That's the thing. It's early. They can, to answer your question, it's early. I can't say. They didn't play too bad the other day. I think their team, they have more talent this year than they had last year, but that's not answering your question. I can't say. It's too early for me to say whether they got this swag back.
How do they look to you, Chuck?
Look, man, a guy named Saquon Barkley has joined that outfit. He was the X factor, I thought, in that game. They are talented. That is a very talented team, and I think that head coach is on the clock.
Okay. Dave, you think that Barkley's had the impact that Chuck's talking about?
He definitely has. The only thing is, I hope he does not get injured. He's had an injury problem. Running backs, of course, take a horrific beating. But the key thing for me in watching that game is Philadelphia won. You see the tailspin that they had at the end of last season. They looked horrifically bad. And now a win can really change everything. Because as Chuck said, they were like, 10-0 at one point or 10-1. And then everything went south. So it's important that they got a W in a regular season game, the start of the year. That was important. That's big.
Against a good
we'll
team.
See what happens.
Against a good team.
Against a very good team.
Well, they did get it against a good team. But, David, I'm going to stick with you. Since Love has gotten hurt, Green Bay's still a good team. Are they going to – is that going to doom them if he's out 3 to 4 weeks?
They're going to struggle. I mean, they play my Colts this Sunday, and they've got Willis as the backup quarterback who's been unproven and hasn't done very well when he was at Tennessee. They're going to lose if the Colts play their game. The Colts will beat the Packers, but the Packers have a chance when Love gets back. Hopefully, 4 or 5 weeks from now, the Packers have a chance to turn things around because Jordan Love is a very, very good quarterback, and he's being paid accordingly.
Earl, are the Packers done, or can they bounce back from this injury?
I'm not sure, Barry. I've only seen one good year out of Jordan Love. I've only seen one good year. So as far as I'm concerned, he just had one good year. I don't know what all the hubbub is about him. Everybody thinking like this guy's, top 5 quarterback in the league. I don't know why. I don't see it.
Okay.
No, everybody's different.
So I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
He's not proven to me, yeah. He only had one good year, but now this guy's making $50 million a year. That's the market. You can have one good year, but you're gonna make $50 million a year. I guess it is.
Timing is everything. Oh, so you're not that sold. Even if he comes back quickly, you think it's a question mark in your mind. Is that
how
correct?
would I know? This guy has had one good year. How would I know how good he is? How would I?
You're the sports doctor. You're the sports doctor.
Well, I'm telling you, he's not. I don't think he's as good as everyone's touting him to be.
How long did it take you to think Mahomes was good?
I knew it was good when I first saw him. To answer your question, it didn't take time at all. So what's that got to do with anything?
Well, they might apply in this case as well.
And it might not.
What's your position?
Okay, let me ask you this. How many good years has Jordan Love had? Let me break it down. One. And so about 1 year, we know this guy's all-American and all this and that, right? That's what we're saying.
In fairness, though, Earl, the media anoints guys very quickly. Patrick Mahomes was anointed after his first full season. he was completely anointed as the next big thing. It happens consistently with quarterbacks.
They were right.
And they were right. Yeah. So I'm just saying it does happen. I think Jordan Love is just part of that tradition of good quarterbacking in Green Bay. And he sat and learned. By the way, I was the only one who supported him last year in season 4. And I still haven't got my roses for that.
You're not gonna get your roses yet because the Pelicans gonna come off those roses at the end of this year.
Chuck, what do you think about the Packers' chance with if Love can come back quick enough? You think he can rally them, or do you think they're kind of in bad shape?
I think the key is what you just said. It depends on how long he's out and how severe the injury is. And David is right. I was as hard on that guy as anybody, and he played his butt off. And by the end of the year, he was as good a quarterback as there were in that league. They went into Dallas and they punished Dallas. So I tip my hat to him. I was wrong. I just,
Well, let me ask you guys this: Who is the better quarterback going by their performances the last 3 years? Brock Purdy or Jordan Love?
Well, Brock hasn't been there 3 years, has he?
This will be his 3rd season starting.
All right. So is that 2? Right.
He's been there just as long as Love been. Between as long as he's been in the league, who is the better quarterback?
So let me ask you a question. Obviously, Brock has played longer and better. But let me ask you guys a question about Brock. A lot of times when I hear people talk, he's not in the top 10 quarterbacks but should he be there? Or do we hold it against him that he was Mr. Irrelevant?
If he had been drafted in the 3rd round instead of the 7th round as the last player, if he had a different physical makeup, he doesn't look like a prototypical star quarterback. That's part of the problem. So I think he has 2 issues. His look, because remember how it used to be that quarterbacks had to be 6'5", 240, and stand in the pocket and take the punishment and just stay in the pocket until they found the right guy. Well, bump that. That mode is gone. But we're still kind of against guys who are kind of small, not a big arm.
Mr. President,
he was Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. President, we got to move on. Is he one of the top quarterbacks, Mr. President?
Yes.
Okay.
But we just don't like it. We just don't like the fact that he is.
He's in a good system, though. I mean, the bottom line is this: he's with a great coach, a great organization, great people around him. If you drop Brock Purdy off in the Carolina Panthers,
What if you drop him off at the Dallas Cowboys? What if he and Chuck, this is directed towards you. He and Dak were traded for each other, and Dak had those type of weapons, and you put Purdy with the Dallas Cowboys. What do you think? You think Dak would look better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, in the playoffs. I mean, Dak's had a good regular season, but in the playoffs,
I mean, all the way around.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah. Earl, what do you think of Brock Purdy? Is he that good? Or because I never hear people talking about him being one of the top quarterbacks.
I don't like Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL going by his performance. I don't care what he looks like. I don't care what his weight is. I don't care what race he is. He's one of the top 5 quarterbacks. Since he's been in the league, he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks. And I don't like him.
I think it's hard to argue with that. I think it really is.
I'd like to ask Earl, why don't you like Brock Purdy? What is it? What's there to dislike?
I think subconsciously I root against people of non-color, people who I root against people who are Caucasian. I think that's what it is.
Whoa.
Well, let's move on to the next. Rams versus Lions.
Would you say HR? You want to see Earl after the show?
Probably EEO. The Rams versus the Lions. Earl, is that a rivalry? And which quarterback is the better quarterback between those two today?
Today,
Rams versus yeah.
I would say Stafford. You know I'm a Stafford man. So
Okay.
Stafford. Goff, I don't know about Goff. I don't know. No, Detroit has a good team, but you're asking me about Goff.
Yes.
He wouldn't be in my top 10. He wouldn't even be in my top 12. But that's just mine.
Rivalry between Detroit and LA. I mean, they've traded quarterbacks and they faced each other a few times.
Well,
A couple of
don't we
times.
have
I should say.
for me, I have to have a couple of more games than just one game against each other for it to be a rivalry. But that's just me. They have played against each other enough for it to be a rivalry.
Well, yeah, I think to me, I'm spicing it up a little bit since they traded quarterbacks too. That kind of adds to it a little bit. And of course, Los Angeles had the most success with winning the Super Bowl.
Right.
David, what did you think of that game, Earl? I'm sorry. Rams and Lions. Sunday night.
I thought it was okay.
Overtime game.
I thought it was
David, your thoughts on that game?
I think that the media, of which we're a part, really is wanting Detroit to be the next big thing. And Jared Goff and Matt Stafford are the same guy.
Yes.
Okay.
They're the same guy. The advantage goes to Jared Goff because he's younger than Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford's 37 years old now. So
I'll probably ask who's the best right now.
I would say Jared Goff is better than Matt Stafford. Again, Matt Stafford is injury prone. He always gets hurt. But he carries around a broken leg and he still plays, but he's hurt.
Thanks for joining us.
And
Thanks for joining us again, Kung Fu.
Yeah, Kung Fu, what's up? Welcome back, buddy.
Welcome back.
Kung Fu, what's up?
Chuck, your thought on those two teams and the two quarterbacks.
Here's the thing. Detroit, and I think somebody said it earlier, they got a good team. The Rams, they pushed all their chips in to win that Super Bowl, and they're still starting to build that thing back up. You're missing people like Aaron Donald and so forth.
Yeah.
Also, there's a guy on this show who flat out just doesn't like the overtime rule. I just don't like it. I mean, why should one team get a chance to score and the other team doesn't? Now, I know they've changed it in the playoffs, but that rule still stinks to me. Flip of a coin.
It does seem a little. It's better than it was, but it still seems lacking a little bit to me. I agree as well.
But I bet you probably wouldn't think it was lacking, Charles. The team that you favor won most of the time.
I don't like either of those two teams. I don't care nothing about neither one of them.
I didn't say you did. I said if it was a team that you like, I didn't say anything about those two teams.
Right. I just don't like the rule. You flip a coin, guy gets the ball, goes down and scores a touchdown, game over. That just doesn't seem right to me. And by the way, the NFL, when I first brought that up, they changed it for the playoffs the following year. So they too know that don't seem right.
You know what I don't like? I don't like the kickoff rule. I think it sucks. It looks bad, looks gimmicky. And if we have to do things like the XFL, USFL, whatever the heck it's called now, taking something from them, it looks childish. Looks like something that you play in junior high.
You sound like a get off of my grass guy, David.
I'm old enough to be that guy.
Right.
I'm that guy.
Because it doesn't look like any different to me. I mean, it don't look no different to me.
They're trying to protect their players, but it doesn't seem like it has that much impact because most of the kicks are still going into the end zone, and they're getting it at the 30-yard line.
The NFL ain't concerned about injuries. They wear these little muffin tops on top of the helmets in practices where they don't even hit. Yet when they play the game, they back to the regular helmets. The NFL is full of BS. So pardon my French.
Kung Fu, what's up? Yeah.
Okay. Hey, going to jump to an incident that I know that's really dear and near to everybody's heart. We saw what happened to Tyreek Hill as he was trying to get to the stadium. Police retained him. So I'm gonna start with you, Chuck. What did you think of that incident? Police over the top. Did Tyreek fail to comply?
So I'm going to say it really quick. But
Okay.
if I were, as I coach my kid, my son and daughter, when they're stopped by the police, you just do everything the police says. You just do it and do it very nicely and with good manners and so forth, even if the police is wrong. Now that we saw that incident, I thought the police was way over the top, and I thought that was a bad look for them, big time. So I think the police went too far. But I also think, last quick thing, if he'd have done what they asked him to do, roll the window down, give him his stuff, and been nice, I think they would have let him go ahead and go.
Earl, what's your spin on the incident?
This shows you that they have ignorant police in Miami, just like they have all across the country. This is ignorant, man. Because he gonna roll the window down as fast as you want to. We take him out the car. We put him on the ground. We put our knee in his back. Choke him, head choke him as he's trying to get out the car. I don't understand it. It's no reasonable explanation. I don't care how slow he rolled the window down. It's just dumb. And to me, anybody that thinks that there's a reason for why he possibly that could have happened to him, they tripping. To me. So.
David, your spin on it.
I'm agreeing with Chuck on this one, simply because Tyreek should have rolled the window down, but he shouldn't have had a knee putting on his back. He shouldn't have had his face near the asphalt. It was wrong. But two things can be right at the same time. The police were overzealous. They picked on a star player. They knew who he was. They knew exactly who he was, and yet they still treated him badly.
I can never understand in those circumstances why the other cops around who joined the situation don't go, hey guys, let's.
Because it's part of the police code.
Because they toms. That's why, Charles. They toms.
So I just think, and we talked about it before the show started. I think Tyreek Hill should just shut up, let the video speak for itself, because the video is his best spokesperson. That's all that he has. Just shut up, because he's not a good speaker. He doesn't represent the facts well. Just let the video speak for itself and you win. Sometimes if you keep talking, you talk your way into trouble. That's my point.
Well, I don't think he's necessarily going to be any trouble. He got the appropriate penalty, which was the 2 tickets. So I think his is over with. It's the cop that's
well, the cop should be suspended and maybe fired.
I think he should face appropriate discipline. His actions were disproportionate to what happened at that time.
Absolutely.
Early in the year, the same thing. I know it's a little bit different. Same thing happened to Scotty Scheffler in Louisville, and they took him all the way to the police department and booked him
and put him in an orange jumpsuit.
Yeah. Go too far. They go too far sometimes, those cops. I rebuke you in the name of the Lord. Are you kidding me?
No. What he's saying is he didn't respond fast enough. We all agree with that. But Kung Fu, what we're saying is the cop didn't do anything to de-escalate the situation, and we thought that his response was inappropriate. And I think today he'll even admitted that he could have done something different. He admitted his part. Okay, 2 things right now. First, I'm going to ask you guys for your early season top 5 teams. So, Chuck, we'll start with you.
Okay, 49ers, the Ravens, Dallas Cowboys. Ugh.
Well, do you mean the top 5 right now? That's because right now.
Yes.
Eagles.
Okay.
And maybe the Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
Maybe.
Well, Earl, who do you have?
Oh, no, wait a minute. Oh, I forgot. Chuck said early in the show we might have to carry on. He might not be into the show. How many hell are we gonna have the Ravens who
I
lost?
panicked in the fifth.
And you
man.
have the Dolphins who lost. I think some other teams who have won. You're going to rate them over teams that have won and then they lost?
Yeah. Yes.
So, Earl, who do you have your top 5?
I abstain from answering the question. I'm trying to get some. I'm trying to relax right now. I just don't understand. Go past me on this.
David, who your top 5?
Kansas City would have to be the number 1 favorite. Detroit, which the media is hyping, and Detroit is good. Buffalo, I think somehow will be in there again.
It's hard to come with 5. Yeah.
I think there's always a surprise team. I'm just trying to figure out who is that surprise team. And I'm not sure who that surprise team is because there always is. It's not going to be Cincinnati. It's not going to be Tennessee. Let me be a homer, and I'm going to say it's the Indianapolis Colts, maybe 1. Did you see that pass?
Woo!
That
70 yards in the air. 70
Anthony
yards.
Richardson threw. If
And it
he
fell right
doesn't
in
get
there.
hurt,
It fell right in there.
So
That
what
was
about the team
beautiful
that played
pass.
against them, David?
what's that?
What about the team that played against us as a surprise team that played against Indianapolis? Didn't they play Houston?
Houston should be taken seriously.
That's right.
Their quarterback is really good, really good.
Why would you rate them over Cleveland, Charles?
I didn't put I put Miami in there, but now in retrospect, because I was first, I would put Houston in there instead of Miami. So I would have Kansas City, the Ravens, Dallas, Philly, and Houston would be my 5.
So shout out to Sharice. Thanks for joining us, Sharice. And now we got an old friend of ours, Ricky Wilson. Earl, this is Richard Wilson.
Ricky, what's up, Rick?
What's up, Ricky?
Chiefs, Lions, Cowboys, and Eagles. Not bad.
At least all those teams have won a game. It's not like they put losers in there.
They've only played
All right,
one game, Earl.
Huh?
They've only played one game.
16 more games.
Okay. They're gonna win one game. Okay.
Okay, so now
I asked to step out of it, so I'm gonna stay out of it. Go on, man.
Yeah, did you want to tell us who your 5 teams were now?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we talk about who's going to be your predictions for the Super Bowl? So, David, I'll start with you. Who's going to the Super Bowl this year?
I'm just going to take a wild flyer and say the Detroit Lions, who haven't won anything since 1958. No, 59. I think it was 59 or 60. Detroit Lions, no, 57, 1957. Detroit Lions against the Kansas City Chiefs.
I forgot to put up one more prediction too. Kung Fu.
Kung Fu, your list is trash because you got a team that lost the game already. And how can a team already lost the game already be rated over a team that hasn't lost? Your list is trash.
Wow.
Some people might depend on who they lose to, Earl.
Wow. Okay.
It didn't look that bad to me. But so I'm sorry, David, who did you say?
Detroit versus Kansas City.
Okay. Chuck, who did you say? Who do you have?
I think I know this is going too far, but 49ers will play the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Kansas City will play Baltimore, and I think it'll be Baltimore and the 49ers. And I think that Baltimore wins the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, you're really going on. Earl, who's going to be in the Super Bowl?
I like, of course, Kansas City. They'll go for the three-peat. They'll win it all. Coming from the NFC, I can't say. I'm not impressed with that many teams. I'm not impressed with the teams in the NFC.
Detroit Lions. Come on, say that, Earl.
I don't think the Lions aren't going to the Super Bowl. They're the Detroit Lions. They'll find a way to screw it up.
Well, you're probably right about that.
So let me ask you this: if we all on the police force together, and we're outside, and one of the police are acting crazy to a prisoner, I'm gonna say, "Yo, dude, you gotta slow down a little bit." You gonna say something too?
I am too.
Say something.
I am too. I am too.
Some of them do that, and then sometimes they get caught up in the mob mentality. I see it happening both ways.
You having a bad day today, Kung Fu. The Cowboys aren't going anywhere. They're trash too.
We do agree. We do agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's going to be the 49ers and the Ravens. I just got to go on record saying something.
Okay.
That's right. And who wins?
I'll let you know when
Okay. When the day after the Super Bowl, you'll let me know. Good.
no, before the Super Bowl. Before the Super Bowl. Hey, let's move on to college football. We had to just touch on a few games. David, your thoughts on the Texas versus Michigan game?
Texas looks for real. Texas looks for real. And Michigan has so many problems connected to what they did in previous years and potential scandal. They got a new coach. Everything's kind of upset. I think the new head coach is Sharon Moore, right? He's going to have to earn his stripes. He won 5 games last year as the interim coach in Jim Harbaugh's absence. So he can coach. He knows what to do. But I just think that the tide's kind of against him. And to lose the way they lost, they got their ass kicked. They got their ass kicked. I don't know. Texas just looks really strong. They look really strong.
Earl, your thoughts on that game? Is Michigan done? Or is it just a bad day for them? Was just Texas just so great? What do you think about that game?
Texas is a very good team, and Michigan, they have resorted back to what a regular Big team looks like. So,
Get off the Big Ten now, Earl. Come on now.
I mean, they just got
we got 18 teams
on nationwide TV. They got stomped.
They are the national champion, the defending national champion, the Big freaking 10.
David, last year's teams were the national champions.
Right now, they are the reigning national championship until they are replaced by the new national champion. They're not going to be the champion this year, but they are the reigning national. They at least have that title. Give them that. Give them that.
I would still argue that was last year's team that did that. Chuck, what did you think about this game?
I thought Texas did. I echo what David and Earl said. I thought Texas looked really, really good, and I think they will be in the mix this year. But look, Michigan sent 13 dudes to the pros, and they lost their coach. A couple of their coordinators got jobs. So it's a rebuild right now. I know, the good schools like Michigan don't rebuild; they just reload. But I think they'll be a different team by the end of the year. I think. But
Michigan?
Yes. They'll get better as the season goes on, is what I'm saying.
With what?
Well, they bring in 4 and 5-star players, so they just got to coach them up over time.
It's not just the NFL where you need a quarterback to win. It goes for college as well. Well,
Texas looked good. Michigan was. Oh, there's Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy, thanks for joining us. And Jeremy is a huge Michigan guy. So when you guys made all that, when y'all saw us talking about Michigan, that brought him onto the show because he doesn't like people talking about them.
But look at the end of his statement. Texas is for real.
They are for real. We all agree. But he also is saying there's 3 turnovers and a drop pass and some missed tackling. So those things will improve. Thanks for joining us, Jeremy.
They don't have a quarterback, Charles. They don't have a functional quarterback.
Right. Well,
what? Don't you have to have
last year, J.J. McCarthy wasn't exactly lighting it up, and they still won the national championship.
He was a first-round draft pick.
He was a first-round draft pick, Charles.
But they didn't pass the ball that
much. All this is proven.
They didn't have to.
13 players of the pros or something. They lose 13. That was last year's team that won the championship. Next game, Notre Dame versus Northern Illinois. Bad day for Notre Dame, good day for Northern Illinois, or is Notre Dame really not that good? Chuck, I'll start with you.
Well, listen, I have a good friend of mine. He comes out every now and then. He comes on the show. His name is Michael Pinckney. He played college football at Northern Illinois, and I'm telling you, I could hear him from his basement in the other housing development. He was so excited with that win. That was a huge win. They paid that team $1.4 million to come to South Bend, and they kicked Notre Dame's butt. So shout out to Northern Illinois. Great win. Great win.
Are you going to answer this question that he asked you about the team, or are you just going to make that statement?
I was about to follow up with him.
No.
Is Notre Dame? You think they're overrated, or
It's too early for me to tell. I can't.
Okay.
They didn't look real good. Their defense looked okay, but they just didn't look really good. But it's still early. It's a long season. 12 teams go to the playoffs this year now, so it's a whole
Who
different.
did they play the first game?
Northern Illinois. Oh no, they played the team out in.
They played another scrub.
They played in Ireland, didn't they?
Who?
No, they didn't play in Ireland.
no, that was Virginia Tech and somebody, right?
They played some team that they should have won by 30 with, and they barely won. And then they lose to Northern Illinois. Come on.
Well, let me speak for Northern Illinois. Let me just say this.
They got
Northern
tradition.
Illinois has been a Mid-America Conference powerhouse for many years. There are occasional years when the group of five school is better than a so-called powerhouse. And the Mid-America Conference is oftentimes one of those conferences that will produce a team every so often. Remember, what's his name? Used to coach Florida, Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer was great at Bowling Green. I mean, so Mid-America Conference can't be taken lightly.
And Cincinnati was pretty good too.
Cincinnati is pretty good. I mean, so you just can't overlook. Remember, James Madison was really good. That coach went to Indiana University, Chuck School.
Oh, they were.
And they almost
Put
won
up
12,
77
13
points
games.
this week.
And so all those players came over to IU, and look at Indiana, scored 70 points.
So, David, your position that Northern Illinois, which might be better than people are giving them credit for.
Oh, that's
Because they don't
absolutely the case.
What do you
That's
think about
absolutely-
Notre Dame? though?
Well, Notre Dame is Notre Dame. They are the sentimental, the number one college football team for the last 100 freaking years since Newt Rockne. And they have fans all over the country. They're expected to win, but they're not always that good. They're pretty good, but they went up against a very good Northern Illinois team.
Okay. Robert Woods, what's up? What's up?
What's up, Robert?
Hey, Larry, text me.
Thanks for joining us.
What's up, Robert? Hey, Larry, text me when one of these guys answer your question on whether Notre Dame is good or underrated. And so I can come back on the show. I ain't heard nobody answer your question yet.
Well, I'm gonna throw it to you. What do you think, Earl?
Answer it, Earl.
Oh, I don't know how well Notre Dame, Northern Ireland is, but Notre Dame is definitely overrated. You can see by the first two games. They lost to two lackluster teams. You know, every year, every season, David goes out and adopts some goddamn mid-conference team from somewhere and makes them their team. So I guess this is his team this year. He always has to take up some sorry-ass low-conference team. That's what he does.
They're not.
Come on, man.
Excuse me.
When he had Cincinnati, Cincinnati wasn't sorry. They were a good
Cincinnati
team.
went to the
They
championship
were a
game.
very good team.
So I think we can all agree that it's early in the
Okay,
season.
I'm sorry. One
We'll keep an eye on it.
one out of 5 years,
4
David
years.
picked a sorry team that was good. Okay, I'm sorry.
Sports doctor, we're gonna have to have a conversation.
And I don't think he's picking Northern Illinois as that team yet either. He just said they won and they have some.
I'm just saying the Mid-America Conference, oftentimes in the shadow of the Big Ten, they have the same original Big Ten footprint, and they get recruit many of the same players, and a lot of the guys who don't go to the Big Ten go to some MAC school because they're in the same footprint and they want to have something to prove. the brief time that I played college football, we had 4 guys have impact in the NFL. Guys that kicked my ass in practice every fucking day. Excuse my language. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, Mr. President, we're gonna have to move on.
What'd you say, HR? You want to
Hey,
see
Larry,
David afterwards too?
You're
Okay.
doing a pretty good job, but you normally do a little better. But since we put in a new rule, you're not doing that well. Several people have talked over 2 minutes apiece. The 30-second deal is out of the thing.
Okay.
So I blame you because you're the moderator. You have 2 seconds on the screen.
I'm trying to let it be a free flowing, but I'll try to do better. I've stepped in a couple of times with Mr. President. Colorado
Right.
versus Nebraska. Earl, Dion, primetime. Nebraska kicked their butt. What's going on with Dion?
He doesn't have anybody. He has a wide receiver that plays both ways. He has a quarterback that's pretty good, and he has his son. The other defensive back is all right, even though he's overrated. Dion doesn't have any horses, and I don't know why y'all blaming him because people won't come to his school. You're acting like it's his fault that he can't get 290 pounds, 6'5" people on the team. They ain't
Well,
coming.
who should we blame? Who should we blame, Go-Go?
I have no idea. If I knew, I'd be the first one to tell you.
Well, let me just say this. If you get nicknamed by the national media, you don't even get called your name, you're called Coach Prime, you better be on it. He ain't on it. Sorry. He's not doing what he's supposed to do as a coach. Sorry.
Chuck, your opinion.
I agree with David. I'm really disappointed. It was about this time a year ago, the country was excited. He was on 60 Minutes. He was making a difference, man. It was an exciting time.
What kind of difference was he making?
And we gave him the benefit of the doubt that year because it was his first year. He didn't have his guys. So in the offseason, he was going to go to the portal, get some people, get linemen, etc. Well, the thing I saw the other day, it was worse than last year. And I don't predict that team's not going to win more than 3 or 4 games this year. They're just not. Sorry. And by the way, his other son, the safety that Earl was talking about, he already out for the year with a broken arm.
Pitiful.
Okay. My last question here.
Fired up
College
already.
football. Which Power 5 team other than Georgia is most likely to go undefeated? Especially given that we've combined all these leagues. Or is anyone going to do that?
Yes.
Who do you have, David?
The Ohio State Buckeyes. It's on them this year. The Ohio State Buckeyes. The Big Ten, Earl.
I'm just hoping that you remember this, and I'm glad we're recording it, so we can always go back to it.
Earl, any Power 5 team going to go undefeated this year besides Georgia? I'm taking Georgia out of the mix.
Alabama. Yep.
Chuck, any team you think will make it?
The Ohio State University.
Okay.
They have a very favorable schedule. They play Michigan and Columbus, etc. Penn State doesn't look that good. Look out.
Don't they play some of the teams that were formerly in the
They
Pac-12?
do. They do. UCLA, they do.
They got UCLA's coach.
Yes. The former Eagles head coach. What's his name?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember. We're going to move on to the WNBA. So the 18 WNBA playoffs will be about 11 days from now. Tell me 2 teams that will reach the finals. And David, I'll start with you.
Las Vegas and New York.
Chuck, which 2 WNBA teams will reach the finals?
I'll say as much I don't want to say it. I'll say the Aces and the Liberty as well. I say the same too. I'm a little disappointed with the Aces this year, but they might crank it up come playoff time.
Earl, what top 2 teams?
There are only 2 teams in the league, Liberty and the Aces.
Oh, I beg to differ. I think Connecticut is good, and Minnesota's played well.
There's a team in Indianapolis that's pretty good too.
Well,
He actually took who's going to win the finals. Indianapolis not winning the finals. The people's not winning the finals. Period.
They're
But you
carrying the
said there was
lead.
only two
I'm
good
gonna
teams.
go with Connecticut and the Liberty.
Do you think the Fever have a chance to win it all, Charles?
They got a chance.
I think they're pretty good. I do.
Jesus Christ.
They got a chance. They got a chance, Earl.
They're pretty good.
Okay.
I think they have the best record since they've come back from the Olympics.
Do you think they have a chance to win the finals?
Liberty
You said yes. That was
They're tied with the Liberty.
Mm-hmm. Let's skip to Caitlin Clark. How she handled the hype and the competition her first season in the NBA. And David, we'll start with you.
She's a sensational young player. I know she gets criticized by certain segments of the basketball populace for her turnovers. Look, half the turnovers are Butterfinger hands of teammates. Sorry. She's just a special player. And without her, the Fever would not have a winning record, period. I don't care what anybody says about Kelsey Mitchell, who's very good. Kelsey's been with the Fever for 7 years, and they haven't made the playoffs. So Caitlin Clark helped make Kelsey Mitchell relevant. In fact, Caitlin Clark helped make the WNBA relevant. And I know people are upset because it's a little white girl from Iowa who helped transform the league. But so what? So what? She's really that good. She's really that important.
Chuck, what about her impact on the league and how she handled the hype and the competition?
I think it's been remarkable. A+. I think the way she's handled it, A+. And I'll go as far as to say this: I think that her partner, Angel Reese, and her, to me, has had the same sort of effect, as Bird Magic in 1980. And that league was struggling. They came in that league. That thing took off. I've seen the same kind of impact with the two of them.
But I'm really talking about how she handled the hype and the competition.
I've already said A+ for the hype, A+ for the competition, A+ for her performance. And David, she was turning the ball over a lot earlier in the year, but she's even cut down on that. And that team is pretty daggone good.
Well, in fairness, so Chuck, she had 9 turnovers the other day.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, I mean, but she's going to have the turnovers because she's making passes that other players have never made in the WNBA. She's doing things that a lot of players in WNBA have never done. And that needs to be recognized. And I'm sorry that it's become a racial polarizing thing with her, because some people can't handle the fact that a little white girl from Iowa is transforming the league. I'm sorry.
Earl, what are your thoughts about how she's handled the hype and the competition?
I thought she's been playing great. I think she's playing great. What can you say? It's not too much for me to say one way or the other. She's playing great. As far as handling the hype, if she's playing great, obviously she's handling the hype. So yeah.
Yeah, I think she's done a good job. She didn't ask for any of that. I think she would have just liked to go out there and play to show her game, but she dealt with the league. It's a much more physical style of basketball than she's used to. She never cried about it. It was kind of bad because other people were crying too much. She just adjusted to it, and played her game, and it's been very successful. Yeah, she has turnovers, but nobody's perfect, but she's gotten better as the year. You could tell that she's grown so much and adjusted to the league.
One thing real quick, Larry. Keep in mind, the one thing I don't like about her game: stop freaking complaining to the refs. Just stop it. She's too demonstrative. She's got to cut that out. Once she cuts that out, she's gonna be hard to stop. Period.
Okay. So
as far as turnovers, Larry, I mean, okay, when you were playing basketball, when all of you guys were playing basketball, you knew who to throw a pass to and how to throw a pass to. Why you throw passes to people who can't catch? She making wrong decisions. If David says all her things are slippery butterfingers, after a while you say, I can't throw that person that pass. They don't catch the ball. They can't catch.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with him on that. I mean, because she's also getting a whole bunch of assists. So sometimes you're just going to have turnovers when you have people.
Well, right. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But they can be cut out. They can be cut out as well, though.
Well, I mean, they're catching it a lot of times, too. So it just
in certain passes, you might throw a certain person, but there's another person you're not going to throw that pass because you know they can't fucking catch.
She builds confidence in people too. She just trusts them, and she makes the right basketball play. And they have gotten confident. I mean, that the little girl comes off the bench, the little skinny lady from Stanford. She's playing really well now.
She's a starter now.
She's a starter now. Okay, she knocks down that shot. She's built her confidence up. They got a good little team, man.
Somebody on this panel said, early in the season, we got to give them a chance to get together and learn to play each other. Oh yeah, that was me.
Yeah,
and they have done that.
And you are absolutely right, Larry. Absolutely right.
We're getting close to the end of the time, so I'm gonna move to the U.S. Open. Finally had an American male that made it to the finals. I think it was the first time since 2009 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he Fitz also played. I can't pronounce Tiafoe in the semifinals, so we knew American was going to get there. Are Americans on their way back in tennis, or is this just a fluke? I mean, we had two that at least made it to the semifinals. David, you're shaking your head, so I'll start with you.
It just random. It's random. And Tiafoe, great player, but he tends to make key mistakes in crunch time. The other American, Fitz, no, I think it was a fluke, and the Americans are going to be close to the semifinals of major tournaments, but I don't think we're going to win a major anytime soon, on the men or women's side.
Yeah, because they had a woman in the finals too,
and Chuck, she got her ass kicked.
But going up to that, she was pretty dominant. She was winning convincingly heading into the finals. Chuck, American men.
I don't think so. I think the world, man, the world. Everybody's doing these sports, man, and a lot of these guys are good throughout the world. So I don't think I think it was just a coincidence. I just think it was random. I don't think the Americans are back. I don't.
The American men, a long time. I think the 2003 was the last time they actually won one. But I think
was it Andy Roddick or something?
Right.
I think it was Roddick.
Something like that, yeah. The last time even making the finals was 15 years ago. That's a long time of any Grand Slam event. Earl, you're the tennis expert here. Actually, you're an expert among everything. I'm sorry, you're a sports doctor. American men, are they making a comeback, or do you agree with David and Chuck?
American tennis is trash.
Trash. You have any observations from the tournament that stuck out at you beyond the Americans?
You want to say hi?
Yeah, the American tennis is trash. It's horrible. When Alcaraz loses, and when the top 4 seeds lose, and an American can't win the final, that tells you everything you need to know.
So that just kind of opened the door for them to advance as far as they did because the top 4 seeds lost.
Exactly.
Okay, makes sense. Well, that's all I have today. So I want to see if anybody has any closing comments. And Chuck, we'll start with you.
So mine's going to be quick. Look, the Olympics happened this summer. We great performances by a lot of wonderful folks. But I want to point out one lady that I don't know. To me, I didn't think she gets enough credit for how great she is, and that's Sydney Levrone. She runs the 440 hurdle or the 400 hurdles, and when she wins the gold medal, by the way, she broke the record. And when she wins, the second place person is not even in the film, and she's so good. That's hurdles. She's so good. She ran with the 4x400 sprint team as one of the members of that too. She's amazing, and I think she's terrific. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Sydney McLaughlin Levrone.
Thank you, sir. David, any closing comments?
Very quickly, player who I'd like to see cut and never playing again, Deshaun Watson. We've loosely used the term trash today. His game is trash. His personal behavior is trash. His contract is trash. That's all I got to say. Bye.
What do we know about his personal behavior?
We know about it.
Contract's pretty good.
It might be terminated based on what just leaked out in the media. It could be terminated.
Oh, that was from way back.
No. This is. I mean, I know it's 2000, but new charges are surfacing from 2000 that could void his contract.
Yeah, someone filed a civil suit against him.
It's 2024, David.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So what you're saying, he could be a completely different person than back then.
He's a different person, all right.
Well, Dave, I know we normally don't comment on comments. You know, I certainly respect yours, but I'll say at the time they gave him that comment, his record wasn't that clean anyway. So he got the contract.
It wasn't that clean at all.
Right.
I've lost total respect for the player. He can't play. If he was doing a Ben Roethlisberger, who also abused a woman, then at least Roethlisberger was playing well.
Okay.
Deshaun Watson is garbage.
Okay.
Garbage. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. Period.
Well, that goes to Daniel Jones. That's who that goes to.
I know.
So,
he's
okay.
worse than Daniel Jones. That's my opinion.
Okay. I kept this going. So Earl, any closing comments?
This drives Earl crazy.
No.
Okay. So I'm going to have a closing comment, and I'm going to give a shout out to my favorite NFL player. You know, his name is Charles Snowden III. Okay, yeah, his father and I are pretty tight, but you know, he's been a contributor to this show a couple of times, and I feel like I got to at least learn a little bit about him. He was signed to the active roster with the Raiders last week, and I just happened to turn into red zone, so I'm gonna a tackle right as soon as that turned in. So I'm gonna wish Charles a lot of luck, and Chuck, congratulations.
Larry, I appreciate that, fellas. I appreciate that big time. I hope I can afford him being in the league real quick. He got signed on Friday, which meant I had to buy the Sunday ticket. That was $400 on Sunday. And then he's playing the Ravens this weekend. And I checked StubHub because I got to get 5 tickets for the ladies in my house and the mom and the baby, etc. And the tickets are $300.
Well, let me just say this, Chuck. Stop crying. Your son get ready to be a multimillionaire.
Well, see, that's
he get ready to be he's getting ready to be all pro.
He's
getting ready to be all pro. He's going to be a great player. He has a chance to be a great player.
Hope I can afford it.
Oh, you can.
Okay, so that's all the time we
He's
have.
got you covered.
I want to thank all the viewers for tuning in, and we'll see you next week at 7:00, same time. Real Fellas Talk Sports.
Good job, Larry. It was good to see some new viewers and shit. This is good new viewers. Thanks for signing in.